Hey, NJ here for mynexttablet.com. Today with a video and a review about the Samsung Book Cover keyboard, the official keyboard for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6. Let's get to it. Yeah, when I first started to review the Galaxy Tab S6, I wasn't able to buy the keyboard cover yet, but it's kind of available in Germany now. I got the US layout actually because the German layout is still not available. But yeah, this is the official keyboard cover for the Galaxy Tab S6. You will have to pay $179, so it's certainly not a cheap accessory, but well, the tablet itself is quite pricey too, right? So yeah, let's check out the back cover of the keyboard cover first, because this accessory consists of two parts. There's the back cover, you put it onto the back of the tablet, and then there's the keyboard part. So let's check out the back cover first. That's how it looks like, and you put it on the back of the tablet. And it's done via some magnets in here, but also there's this sticky, rubbery texture thing here on the back, which is kind of, looks similar and has similar properties of a suction cup. And that's how I would describe it. It's quite sticky. You can see my fingerprints here, and already a little bit dust is sticking to it. And that's kind of the only major part that I don't like about this accessory, because if you remove it often, then I'm sure there will be dust sticking to it, maybe hairs if you have pets especially. I'm sure after a couple of months it won't look as pretty, at least if you remove it often, what I'm doing for reviewing and shooting videos and so on. So that's not the perfect part. But let's just do it. Let's put it onto the back of the tablet. You can line it up via this cutout for the camera. And there are also magnets that hold it in place a little bit, so it shouldn't be too hard for you to place it onto the tablet properly, so that it will be held in place quite nicely. You can press it down here on the back a bit so that the suction cup technology works a bit better. I really wish they would just use magnets like on the keyboard for the iPad Pro or so. I think that's much better to use just magnets and the sticky thing, but anyways, that's just what we have to deal with now. So there's protection for the S Pen stylus on the back, and that's good. That way you won't lose it that easily when you put it into your backpack or something. So you can just charge the S Pen and then hide it behind this cover. And yeah, then you've got the back of the tablet protected by this back cover. Obviously the sides are not protected. We've got similar issues with the Microsoft Surface Pro and the iPad Pro and so on. So yeah, many official keyboards don't protect the sides of the tablets, which is a bit unfortunate, but yeah, that's what usually is the case, sadly. So what I certainly like is that we've got an integrated kickstand now that you can use separately without the keyboard. So if you're watching Netflix or YouTube, you can still have a built-in stand as long as you use the back cover here, which is quite nice. I like to watch videos that way. You don't have to carry an extra stand or an extra cover or something around. If you are done with working, you detach it and you can start to watch YouTube or Netflix and use this kickstand. You can put it up in several angles. You can choose how steep or so you want it. It all works quite nicely. And yeah, works pretty well. By the way, if you want to remove the back cover, you have to be a little bit careful, because if you start to tear here, then it kind of feels and looks like you're breaking it. Same if you do it here, you really have to get under here with your finger a bit, put some air under there, like with a suction cup, and then you can remove it. Yeah, still not ideal, but anyway, that's how Samsung did it, and that's how we get the kickstand now. So much about the back cover. Now let's check out the keyboard in more detail. And the keyboard is connected using magnets again, this magnetic pin connector. So you just line it up and it will snap in place very fast. The magnets are quite strong. You will be able to hold it with just the keyboard. I mean, you don't have to try it on purpose, but it's quite strong magnets. And what we don't have is a magnetic bar that we get with a Microsoft Surface Pro or with many Windows tablets, so that you can angle up the keyboard a bit. We don't have it here. The keyboard is flat on the table. That's not totally perfect, but it's fine. That's what we get with most keyboards for iPads and so on as well. We've got another magnetic properties inside the keyboard itself. If you close it, the screen is turned off and the magnets hold it in place a bit. So yeah, it should be fine in the backpack or so. And if you open it again, then the screen is turned on, of course. That's how it should be to save some power. Yeah, now we can start to use the keyboard and the touchpad. By the way, the keyboard here is a little bit smaller than what you might be used to from your full desktop keyboard. It's like with other typical 10-inch devices, like with the iPad Pro, it's similar size, or with many 10-inch tablets or 10-inch netbooks, if you're still familiar with some netbooks. Or many third-party keyboards for tablets have a similar size. So usually you've got to get used to it a little bit, but if you're used to working with the tablet, like I am, for example, you will be able to write very fast on here. You can see some German writing here, but I can also type a bit in English, and yes, it works very well with this keyboard. Yeah, the keyboard works totally fine. You can really press down the keys. Like, it's a real keyboard. You know, some tablet accessories have, you can't really press on them with some touch covers, I believe that's what Microsoft used to call them. Apple had something similar. Now with the newest, you can press it down a little bit more. And yeah, it's a pretty nice keyboard. You can just use it as any other keyboard. I didn't have any issues with it. It has some function keys for up and down, for home, and so on. And yeah, you will be able to use them pretty much like a standard keyboard. Now the touchpad works quite nicely as well. Obviously it's a mouse. Mouse support is built into Android anyways. And you can even use multi-touch. You can use two fingers at the same time to scroll, for example, or to launch the app drawer here, or to go sideways. Let's just open a real app. For example, let's open Microsoft Word, where we can really scroll a bit and demonstrate the mouse. Let's open my review, for example, and things. And yeah, then you can scroll down normally with two fingers, and yeah, the mouse works fine. What does not work is you can't mark text or select text like you can under Windows or macOS or Chrome OS, just by tapping and then dragging the mouse, because the mouse is basically simulating your finger, and that's not how you select text with your finger, right? You hold it longer or double tap it or something, and then you can select the text, and that's what you have to do with the mouse too. You double tap it and then you can select text and then copy it, and you can also use the keyboard shortcuts for copying and so on. So that's just something that won't exactly work like you might be used to from a desktop operating system. Otherwise, touchpad and keyboard work fine. Obviously the touchpad is a bit smaller than what you're used to from most notebooks nowadays, but while it's a 10-inch device, it has to be a bit smaller. Let's start Samsung DeX, so you can just see it with the desktop mode, but it works pretty much the same because it's just still Android. Let's just open Word up again here, and let's open a document, and we can have the Notes app open. And I mean, you've seen Samsung DeX before. You can still select windows, have free floating windows. You can change the window size here. That all works fine. And now you can work in Microsoft Word. Let's scroll down and we can continue to write a bit. I can write my final verdict here, and it works pretty well. The keyboard works pretty well, and it works in DeX mode too, same with the mouse, and now it pretty much looks like a Windows or Chrome OS machine, right? It looks quite good, but again, not perfect. For example, the selecting of text with the mouse with the touchpad is still not exactly like you might be used to from a real desktop operating system. That's the only major difference that I could find so far. Otherwise, shortcuts for copying and pasting here, as you can see, they still work. Good, so much about the keyboard. You can see it works in Samsung DeX too. So you can exit it. By the way, when you connect the keyboard first, the tablet will ask you if you want to switch to Samsung DeX mode automatically. I just pressed no, but you can choose that in the beginning if you want to. Alright, so much about the keyboard. My thoughts about the keyboard are a bit mixed. I like this official accessory. I mean, if you really want to get some work done with the tablet, you will probably want to get the official keyboard cover. It's not cheap, it's quite pricey. It works fine most of the time, but it has some issues. First of all, the suction cup thing on the back is not perfect, and it's a bit plasticky, I must say. It does not feel like a super expensive keyboard. For example, the type cover for the Microsoft Surface Pro feels higher end. But besides that, it's a decent accessory, but an expensive one. If you want a cheaper option, personally, I quite like the Microsoft Universal Mobile Keyboard as an alternative. And I can quickly get it here. That's what I'm using with tablets when I don't have the official keyboard. It's just a Bluetooth keyboard. It's still connected, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it's still connected. We can still type. It's much cheaper than the official one, but obviously you have to charge it separately. That's a nice thing about official keyboards. They are charged using the tablet. And yeah, you can put the tablet in here. Let me quickly show you how it's done. For that, I've got to deal with the suction cup thing here, which I still don't think is ideal, but all right. And then we can put the tablet here. You can put it up in 2 angles, by the way. This and this, which is nice too. And then you can write using the Microsoft Universal Keyboard. I've been using it for 2 years or so, longer than 2 years, and it works with almost every tablet. Another alternative to the Microsoft Universal Keyboard is the Logitech K380, which is a Bluetooth keyboard that works with almost every tablet too. And that's a nice keyboard if you want to work at a desk, if you don't want to bring it along, because it's a desktop class big keyboard. And yeah, I like to use that too. And by the way, if you have a keyboard already and if you want to use it at home, you can connect pretty much every USB keyboard to this tablet. Usually pretty much all keyboards work with Android. So if you're working at home, you might not have to buy a separate keyboard at all. Alright, I'm Andrzej from mynexttablet.com. If you have any questions about this keyboard accessory or about the tablet itself or other tablets, feel free to write them down below in the comments, and check out this YouTube channel and also mynexttablet.com. I've got tons of other videos about this tablet and articles. And yeah, we are reviewing almost every tablet that is released almost worldwide. And yeah, check out our website, mynexttablet.com. I'm Andrzej for mynexttablet.com. Thanks for watching and see you next time.